Chris Collins here, and over the holiday break, I wanted to showcase some of my favorite episodes of Unleashed from this year. And this one is The Dangers of Scaling Too Fast. You know, we're in the greatest economy right now, and a lot of businesses are booming, but they get into trouble because they don't have hiring systems, they don't understand cash flow and supply and demand. And so there's some really great tips in here to save you if you're scaling and you're growing really fast, how you can avoid the pitfalls. So maybe take some notes, grab a pen and paper, and also watch out for some new episodes coming up in January of Unleashed. We'll see you soon.
Welcome to Chris Collins Unleashed. All you have to do is listen.
Welcome to Unleashed. Today we're going to talk about the dangers of your company scaling too fast. The dangers of scaling too fast. How you doing, Jim?
I'm doing great.
The dangers of riding a skateboard too fast.
Those are immense.
You know, everybody keeps asking, why didn't you talk about G-Man's helmet?
Yes.
Are you going to bring in your helmet? You got a helmet, right?
I did get a helmet,
but
yes.
It must not look good because you haven't brought it in.
No, it looks actually, it's pretty cool.
Get out of here. What helmet is cool?
I found a nice trim, slim fit helmet. It's got a little bill on it that you like flip up.
It sounds terrible. You're honest. You're a grown man on a skateboard wearing a helmet with a bill? I mean, I don't know. I kind of see you should be like with board shorts, a sweatshirt tied around your waist, and a backwards ball cap.
I know. Well, that's how I was.
Not a Vespa helmet.
That's how I was riding until I crashed 3 times.
Is your helmet more Vespa or more Harley?
No, it's more Vespa. It's definitely more Vespa.
So you got to be more Harley Davidson.
Yeah, they don't make a really good Harley skateboard helmet. It doesn't really work. No. And then they're too heavy. Like if you got a real motorcycle helmet, it's just too heavy, like on your head. So,
I don't care. I'm more about fashion.
Yeah,
I'd let it be heavy.
Well, me too. You'll have to see. I'll bring
I'd
it in.
go right to the Harley shop.
It looks good.
Where's the biggest Harley shop here in LA? That's where I would go.
Or maybe we could put like a link to. Can we put a link to a photo on the show notes or something?
No, you gotta bring it in.
I gotta wear it live.
Yeah,
we'll do it live.
Bring it in. So funny.
We'll do it live.
It's funny how many people are mad that I haven't talked about that.
I know everybody's like, what happened to the helmet? Did you get it? I got text messages, people asking me about the helmet. I don't know if I told you, I went home and got 3 helmets from Amazon. And I had all 3. Well, you remember.
Do you return something on Amazon?
Oh, yeah.
How do you do that?
You just click return and send it back.
What?
Mm-hmm.
And then you got to make a box or what?
Yeah. Well, you save the box and then you just.
What about a label?
Tape it back up. You print a label right on your computer. Stick it on
UPS, FedEx, what?
Send it back. You typically UPS. Sometimes USPS, depending on what it is. But if you buy it from Amazon, like Fulfill by Amazon or Amazon directly, then you can send it. It's a lot easier to send it back. If you buy it from a third-party seller, then it's a lot more difficult. So I only buy typically from Amazon because I want to return it.
Okay, so you bought 3 helmets.
Yeah, because you remember you set it up with my wife. She called in. If those of you who didn't listen, go back and listen. And I was put on restriction, basically.
Grown man boy. Man boy. Gary, you're on restriction. No TV and skateboards until you get a helmet.
That's right. I was put on physical restriction, and so I was not going to allow that to last
Did she not
very
have
long.
No, what I told her, she shouldn't have, adult time with you.
That's exactly right.
Sex, I guess.
Was on restriction.
Adult time. No bouncy.
Yep.
Did you get bouncy?
No, I had to go buy helmets. And so Amazon, next day delivery, I had 3 helmets. I tried all 3 on. I found one that I liked, and I was back in business.
And then bouncy that night? Did you wear the helmet? Did you come in the bedroom and you're like, baby, daddy's home with the big helmet?
I was all sexy with the helmet on.
By the way, right after that, your wife did the G-Man Katya equivalent of sexting. She sent me
the
Bitmoji.
She sent you a little cartoon?
Yeah, of her riding a skateboard.
That's funny.
That's how you guys sex each other.
That's right.
Bitmoji.
Oh, man. It's funny.
It's not sexting.
I'm having a cartoon relationship with my wife.
I want to hear what that would be like if you go in the bedroom and you're wearing the helmet. Nothing but the helmet.
That is not attractive. That is not going to happen. She will not like that.
If you had the Harley helmet, it'd be attractive.
I still don't think so.
Nobody wants a guy on a Vespa. That's the problem. She wants the guy on the big Harley.
She wants me, bro. Harley, no Harley. Vespa, no Vespa.
I know, but if you're role playing, like, she would rather role play with the biker that's like, I don't know, like the biker guy, like the biker gang guy, not the guy on a Vespa.
It's pretty funny.
It's trying to figure out what he's going to do in college.
I got the beard and the tattoo and
You're
Vespa
wearing
helmet.
I'm just saying, you might want to reconsider that.
All right. I'll bring it in for the next podcast and wear it.
Vespa. That's funny. Okay, the dangers of scaling too fast. Do you want to do the dangers of scaling too fast, or do you want to do stuff I love?
Stuff I love.
Stuff I love.
Our expert producer, a little late on the cue.
We agree on the stuff I love.
Yep.
So I asked G-Man, what's your favorite cigar? And he goes, those Monte Cristos. So what are these things called? You have glasses. I can't read anymore.
Yeah,
I need to go get
called
glasses.
Espada.
And so these are the 70, is it centimeters? They're long. This is a long smoke.
Yeah.
A long smoke.
Yep.
So these are great cigars. They're mild. It's a long smoke. They're the perfect size. They're smooth. I would say this is our go-to right now.
Yeah, no, this is my favorite. Even though it's
right out of those Cubans.
It's a long smoke. I still like this. I still would prefer this over some of the other ones. I mean, some of the other ones have a lot of flavor, but they can be pretty rough, And this, like you said, it's smooth. It doesn't knock you out. It doesn't make you dizzy.
Yeah.
You can smoke it, and it's a nice, easy smoke.
It's
easy
not
draw.
angry.
Yeah. Highly recommended.
The Monte Cristo Estrella?
Espada.
Can we put a picture up of that when we do this? Like on a link to it? I'll send you the link. Good job. Do you want to do that again? The thing? Just the stuff I love.
We got an outro. You want to do the outro stuff?
Yeah, let's do the outro for stuff I love.
That was Stuff I Love.
Lucas hates that. How much do you hate that, Lucas?
Oh, expert.
We were playing, so Lucas has never had the pleasure of, what us Americans love, like motocross and monster truck and all that. And I was like, you got to do the voice like the Ricky Carmichael, like number 2 from Havana, Florida, Ricky Carmichael. I used to love that at motocross, and they'd play that Disturbed song, Down with the Sickness, and and then it was like, from Havana, Florida. Like, I don't know how that guy gets. He drinks razor blades.
That's right.
That's what you got to do, Lucas, is drink razor blades.
Well, it's funny because we were talking about it and playing the monster truck. Lucas is like, I don't understand. What is this? I don't like.
What's a monster truck?
Yeah, it just did not. None of it computed. He was like, it's none of this. This is all.
He's had a very
nonsense.
civilized upbringing.
Yeah, right.
We're shooting off guns and jacking trucks up
Right.
so they can drive over a house. Lucas, in England, you guys don't have trucks drive over houses?
Not like the monster truck things you guys are talking about. Nothing, not like that.
I don't know that you're missing anything.
No.
So I got some good notes here on the dangers of scaling too fast, and this is a real thing. And I'll tell you, like I've over the years, I've seen this firsthand in us turning a business around and shooting the sales up too fast, and there being, there's always a yin and a yang to things. And then I've had friends that have scaled their business really fast, and one either because they are really smart and they just set the goal to scale it and they did, or they were in an industry that just took off,
Right.
and they were riding a boat that they couldn't get off. It went. And so there's a couple things that happen when you scale too fast, and I'm going to go through these, and then I'm going to tell you what the solution is that I've figured out to this to avoid it, where you can scale very fast, if not even accelerate your growth if you do this right. But the first one that I've seen is just that there will be, when you increase sales and you scale really fast, there's going to be customer service issues. So I can give you an example of somebody on the internet selling a sports cream and selling tons of it and having very low returns in relation to what they were selling, but they weren't set up to handle the returns. And so that people report them, they cancel their credit cards, and their merchant thing gets shut down because people can't easily just return it. And there's nobody to answer the phone because they just weren't ready for it, right? So there's going to be, no matter what you're selling, there's going to be some sort of customer service issue where people either want to return the product, right? So with like clothing and stuff, there's a percentage that's going to be bad. If it's 1% or 3%, there's always going to be some sort of return rate. With online sales, there's just going to be people that get it. Even if the product's amazing, they want to send it back. Buying cars, like there's lemons, there's all kinds of issues with that. So there's always going to be some sort of customer service issue. And most of the time where I see people that scale fast lose control is in customer service and returns.
Yep, I agree. It's funny, we were talking about my skateboard earlier, and it's in a skateboard made by a company called Evolve, and I've been following them, and they're scaling very fast. So
it's a new thing.
Yeah.
It's great. No, somebody sees somebody riding it and they're like, I got to have that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I ride mine around Venice, and people are always constantly asking me, and they're putting notes in their phone because they want to go get one. And so,
And the helmet.
That's right. But, and they started in Australia. Now they moved to the States. So, but that is an issue for me. Like, I've had some issues with my board.
Yeah. So what's gone wrong with it? You have like a little tranny issue, right?
Yeah. Well, the first thing was the power button failed on it.
Because you crashed.
I couldn't turn it on. No, that was something else. It was something different.
Oh, because Miss Katya was saying she had to buy you a button after you crashed.
Oh, no, I smashed the remote when I crashed, but I was able to get another one of those. That was pretty easy.
But to have one fixed was a whole different. It's easier to buy one than to have it fixed.
No, to have it fixed, they would have fixed it, but yeah, it would have been gone for 2 weeks, and so I just bought one. But then right after that, maybe a week later, the power button broke. And so I was emailing them back and forth, and just getting the communication going was really difficult. You couldn't call them. They didn't have a phone. They wouldn't give you a phone number. And so you're just emailing them back and forth. And finally they were just like, look, just ship us the board. And so then I had to go to the place, pay to ship the thing over. It sat there for a week. And then I was nervous because it's an expensive item, and I'm emailing them trying to figure out, do you have it? Don't you have it? And all of a sudden the board ended up back at my place because they took it, they fixed it, and they shipped it back to me without ever telling me what happened.
Not, hey, we fixed the whatever button, or this was wrong.
Nothing.
You just got a board back.
Zero.
How long did that take?
It took a week, a little better than a week.
That's not bad, actually.
Not too bad, but the communication freaked me out. And
well, they have, when you scale that fast, they're taking shortcuts.
yeah. And so now I've got another issue, and I'm in the same boat. I'm back and forth.
Are you going to send it back?
I hopefully not. They gave me a tip, so I'm going to go try it tonight, and we'll see. But but I can see. I
just think it's so funny that you leave work and go ride a skateboard when you're 50.
I fully support these guys. I love their business. I love what they produce. They got a great product.
Bro, most guys that are 50 are like reading a book.
I know. I should probably like
smoking a cigar.
Need a lawn chair.
You're
somewhere.
watching Westworld and riding a skateboard. My man, baby G-Man.
But they're scaling fast. They're growing quickly, and they like you were saying, to your point, the customer service is definitely an issue, and you have to be aware of that because it'll creep up on you. And I've seen evidence of that over and over and over again. So you got to be prepared. And people underestimate how much support their customers are going to need, regardless of the product. It doesn't really matter. Could be an info product, could be a skateboard. It just doesn't matter.
Yeah, and so I've seen where a business scales really fast in an industry that's growing, and they are trying to add locations. And so every time they add a warehouse, And with the warehouse comes the stuff that goes in the warehouse and inventory. And they're running out of inventory because they can't make it fast enough, but they're building warehouses and run out of cash.
Yep.
And so the second thing I have is cash. Like when you scale too fast, you run out of cash because a lot of times you are selling the inventory, you can't make it fast enough, then you have to put a bigger order in to get more inventory, so you got to put more cash up front, but you haven't sold that yet, and people aren't paying you because, like, let's say you're selling to Nordstrom's or Costco and they're on a 60-day or a 30-day pay,
Right.
and they're like, we can't get enough product, and at the same time they're not paying you, and you run out of cash. And I've seen businesses have an amazing product with a huge demand for it, and they run out of cash.
Yep.
And they implode.
Yep.
And that happens.
You got to watch out for that. The other thing too is you run out of cash. You need a support system around it. And if you don't have the right support system for your product, you don't have enough cash to support it, right? I mean, if you're investing in inventory and then all of a sudden you sell a bunch of it, but you don't have anything on the back end to support it, and you don't have enough cash because you got it all tied up in facilities and inventory, you're going to run into the same problem.
I think a lot of good companies like that end up on Shark Tank, like Blue Table, and like their thing is like there's a lot of startup cost to it in inventory, and the inventory is perishable, and so it's complicated, and so a lot of companies you see on Shark Tank, they just need the cash.
Yeah, yep. They just want to make an
with
order.
Access to credit.
Yeah, they just want to order more inventory. Sometimes, like they just need to make an order so they can fulfill.
Yeah, and also like with Tesla, right? They had to make their own seats in the cars because nobody else would make those seats because their order wasn't big enough. And so now they had planned that they were going to be able to buy seats, and they have to open a whole factory to make seats, which adds, hundreds of millions of dollars to the whole equation, and they got to raise more money. And
Right.
so that's kind of what happens is when you're scaling too fast, there's always unforeseen things that eat up cash. And so you got to have credit or somebody who can extend credit and help you. And then,
Or if you're doing it on your own dime, you just got to be really careful.
you gotta have a governor on how fast you scale. You gotta watch the cash,
Yeah, you'll outspend yourself.
The next one is hire too fast, right? So like Patricia here that works with us was telling us how they at the company she worked at previously, they hired 90 coaches at one time, right? And what happens when you hire 90 people at one time? How many do you think? Like, let's say in a month you hired 90 people.
Jeez.
Look at how many people did Amazon hire recently? It was like 10,000 or something. Something crazy. So if you're Amazon and you hire 10,000 people in a month, how many of those people aren't good?
Yeah. 20% at least.
Yeah.
At least.
And so that's the other thing is when you're scaling fast, you take shortcuts on the hiring, and then you have bad people, and then the culture and things, things fall apart that way. And so you got bad people that aren't doing the job, and then bad people cost you money, and then they hurt you, and then it's cash and it's receivables and lost production and productivity and all that. So
Right.
growing too fast, if you're growing fast, you have to really be careful who you're hiring in that system. You can't take shortcuts, where most of the time people just throw people at the problem. So that's the other thing is they'll just throw people at the problem. So they'll throw 5 people that don't communicate at a problem one person can do, and the thing never gets solved, and they got 5 people they're paying for,
Right.
which
Yeah.
makes them run out of cash. And so throwing people at it is always the worst.
Yeah, so your infrastructure can outscale your sales, basically. You're hiring people, you're planning for growth, and if the growth doesn't match, if your sales don't match the staff that you've got, then you run into trouble because you're spending too much in payroll and you can't make payroll, and then you'll get behind it.
The other one is production. Production is always hard because you got to calculate. You think there's a demand, and then if you produce too much, so you're always better in those situations to sell out and have more demand than you have product. And I think people get greedy. I've seen a lot of times people get greedy. They make too much. The demand slows down, and then they're sitting on product.
Right.
You're always better to have more demand than you have product. But people get greedy and they don't play that one right. And that's kind of a game of poker a little bit where you have to always be okay with there being more people that want your product than you have.
It's just a hard thing in this day and age because everybody wants it now. And so when the
think
demand's there,
Apple
like you just
plays
want to
that,
fill.
right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, they make just that. Them and Sony, when Sony did the PlayStation and all that, they made just enough to be less than what the demand was, which created which created more demand. Everybody wanted it because they couldn't get it, and so that really kind of artificially inflated it. And then when they came out with the next round, they sold out again.
Yeah, more like, I don't know, when Chevy came out with the Volt, they thought there was all this demand, and then they were sitting, and nobody wanted them. And so you're better to put a few out there and have people wanting it than flood the market with them.
Right.
And have them sitting, right?
Yeah, test.
Slow.
What you think they want might not be what they actually want.
So I have the secret to how you fix all this.
Yeah.
If you want to scale fast. You want to guess or you want me to tell you? I'll just tell you.
Yeah, tell me.
Find somebody who's done it already. You have like a level, if you like, the thing that I see with leaders and entrepreneurs is they think, well, it's my product, and they fall in love with their product. But the real thing is go out and find somebody who's scaled that fast before and hire them and detach yourself emotionally from your product, right? Like when Damon from Shark Tank was scaling Fubu and it went out of control, he found people that had scaled before, that had manufactured before, and he wouldn't have navigated that as well on his own.
Right.
And so go find somebody and hire them who's navigated that, who has the relationships, and they'll save you tons of brain damage. So somebody who's already manufactured or who's already put customer service in place on a big scale knows how to hire a lot of people fast, knows how to build in the contingencies and the pitfalls and all that. And they'll just pay them whatever it is that it cost you, because they'll save you twice that in the back.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes they won't even charge you. I mean, I know there's a lot of business owners out there that want to be a mentor to somebody else and would sit down and at least give you some advice, but you got to reach out and try to find, like you said, find somebody that's been through that before and, sit down with them, buy them a cup of coffee or lunch and pick their brain for a little while.
Yeah, the thing that I always hear is, oh, well, that nobody will understand my industry or they don't
Right.
know. And I'm like, customer service is customer service. I don't care if they scaled with Apple and now you're selling, sports cream. It doesn't make a difference. It's people calling in and the systems that you have to have in place, like to have accountability, right? So you're emailing on your skateboard. There has to be a manager looking at how many unsolved. They got to be tracking how many returns they have, what the turnaround time is. You have to be looking at all those measurables so you know if you're winning or losing, not just throwing it all in a dumpster and seeing what comes out.
Right, exactly.
And so there's ways to track it and set it up and accountability that will, it's easy to set up a system where the client gets an email as soon as the person who fixed it types in like, hey, this is what was wrong with it, and boom, and send. But you wouldn't figure that out on your own. You need somebody who knows what that software is, who's used it, put it in place. They'll save you years of pain and lost money. So it isn't industry specific, it's system specific.
Right. Yeah. So if you go onto the forums for this board, there's a lot of guys that are like, I just want to return it. I don't want it anymore, because they getting frustrated. And that comes from the communication, I don't think from the product, because you're going to have issues with any product like that. It doesn't matter.
And I would imagine their problem is they can't make them fast enough. And they're getting returns and they can't fix them, and it's a new thing, right? So there's probably product issues with 50% of them, would you say?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, maybe 30, but it's high. It's higher than they want it to be.
But it's a new product, and
Right.
that's to be expected. I think that's another point to make is people have unrealistic expectations of product quality and customer service, and they think that it's going to be smaller than it is when you need to plan for it being a disaster.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially the first time. Like you're lucky you got demand, and you can keep loyal clients if you address it quickly. But
Right.
you're going to lose them if you're neglecting them.
Yeah, and just recently, like when I was first started looking at this board, you had to order them a couple of weeks out. and sometimes 30 days out because they were behind on production. So they ramped up production and now they've got a plethora of boards, and they also have them. They're moving into brick and mortar now. So some of these skate shops are starting to stock the board. And so I can see them growing quickly, and that this is where it's starting to get out of control. You know, their sales are starting to ramp up, but they don't have the support system in place. Plus, I think they've got, you know, just based on what I've seen, a lot invested in inventory, you know, and I'm sure that's eating up a lot of their working capital.
Yeah, and so they go find somebody who ran customer service for another company that scaled that fast, and somebody who ran production, and they hire them, and they're going to understand what to do.
Right.
And they'll just put the systems in place. But they're thinking, oh, skateboards are different.
Right. My market's different.
Yeah, and it's not. It's
There's no 50-year-old dudes riding our board.
It's a mindset.
That's not our market.
Yeah, you can't duplicate like how you have, you know, 2,000 returns and 5 people to fix them. And, you know, you just got to know how to do that.
Right.
And it'll save you tons of money. So just to recap, the fix to all of this is to get someone who's already done it. And it doesn't matter the industry, it's the system. So if they know customer service or manufacturing or whatever it is that is scaled fast, the biggest one I think is customer service when you scale fast.
Yeah.
You always think that you're not going to have those issues, but you always have more than you think. And the faster you scale, the worse it gets. And then you end up spending all your time chasing the squeaky wheel and not thinking strategically. And then you're going to run out of cash if you grow too fast. So you gotta watch the cash. You hire too many people too fast and take shortcuts in hiring. You're going to have culture issues, production issues, and then production of the product is hard. Yeah, so that's it. And then what are these cigars called? The Monte Cristo
Espada.
That's our favorite cigar. We're going to smoke one of these right after this.
For sure.
What is it? Like a 2-hour smoke?
Probably.
It's like an hour. But that is
just long enough.
That's what we got for Unleashed for you today. Do me a favor and subscribe. If you don't subscribe, share this with all of your friends and tell them, you know, you got to listen to this podcast. G-Man's a disaster. He's sexting his wife with Bitmojis.
Oh, man. My life is on display for all to mock.
We need a video of you riding down Venice on a skateboard with your Vespa helmet.
Okay. All right.
Can somebody make that video? That would have the most views of anything on our YouTube channel, don't you think, Lucas? What'd you think, Lucas?
Yeah, I think that'll win. That'll be a winning video.
Are you crying? You're laughing so hard?
No.
He's laughing so hard he's crying.
All right. All right. Skateboard, Venice helmet, Vespa helmet.
That's it. We're ending it. That's it.
I think that's it. Yeah.
Okay, everybody. Have a great week. We'll see you next time.
Yep.